Vive l'empereur!
Hey, this is Chris Muller with the Thursday Night Gamers. Curtin Richley, Aaron Tobel, and Chuck Silverstein. And in this series of videos, we are playing Napoleon's Last Gamble from OSG Games. This session ends June 17th. We finished up the session by going into the night turn. I will be posting victory calculations later on this evening. It was another day of, especially for the Prussians, primarily they just marched as hard as they could to try to get into position for the night and for tomorrow morning. The British just fell back very slowly, trying to hold ground where possible. Not even really contesting that much, just trying to slow the French advance down. And the French basically were pushing into the British, protecting against the Prussians, basically trying to set up a battle on the western flank of the Waterloo region for the 18th. The 17th has been a really fascinating exercise. It's one of those days in wargaming that is sort of problematic because there's not a lot of fighting, and wargamers like to fight. So how does that happen on the map? I think our 17th came off pretty well. There was some battling here and there, but mostly was rearguard stuff, so or spoiling attacks. So I think it pretty much, even though the directions of march were not historical, the tempo of it felt pretty good to me. Anyway, on to the late afternoon and evening of June 17th, 1815. Thanks for watching. You can see Chuck is pulling his men up around Nivelle. I have, maybe the British, have some guys there who are trying to come on that same hex, so they're being pushed up slightly to the eastern edge there. Aaron just continues to come up close to the British line, trying to come to grips. So we have this guy. He's just looking.
Well, I believe he's being looked at.
This guy, he will go 1 or 2. He will go back.
Along the crest.
Looks like we have a dancing away happening here with Grant. 1, 2, yes. And Vandeleur.
Where? Oh, never mind.
All right, and that's everything, right?
Yeah, that
Just
would be
a
everything.
little bit of The Allies got an alternative reinforcement brought in this turn. It was number 2. It was Colville's division and Stedman's division, I believe. Again, coming in that same congested area around Nivelle. The Prussians, you can see, are sort of advancing forward, keeping the French occupied on their eastern flank. For the last turn before night, there's a number of considerations. One of them is, are you going to put your officers into towns for the night? Each officer in a town is worth 1 victory point. Also, Chuck is trying to engage as strongly as possible the right flank of the British position. And Aaron is pretty much shoring his lines up. He's got an unenviable position. He's got one army he's trying to push and another army that's trying to push on him.
Okay.
1, 2.
The vedettes withdraw.
Oh, look, they're multicolored.
Here is
Grant
white
is on the roadblock. He's not going to fight. Oh, you got cavalry there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I ran my
will-
cavalry up so he
he
couldn't
That's
run away.
it, right.
He'll sit and fight. And
Fortunately, he doesn't benefit
this
from
guy.
the
So
roadblock.
these are all fight.
These
So
are
where do you
all
want to start?
fights. Okay. 17-1. I think we like
17-1.
those odds. Alrighty.
Four,
Unfortunately, a lot higher than
four,
a lot higher odds than I would
Yeah.
like.
four.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a DE. So
Grant's cavalry.
Grant's
not
cavalry
good,
is
though.
gone, and I think the
And if
roadblocks
you
are
advance,
moved.
you can
Yes.
come into the-
If you advance,
So here we go. Coming to grips.
No,
Who's
the
next?
cavalry
Okay,
won't take the roadblock. It has to be infantry to take the roadblock.
No, it's just if you beat the guy
Yeah,
manning it.
right.
If you
Okay.
advance in, you
All
take
right,
it.
so-
That's what it said.
Alrighty, we're looking over here.
I thought
8 to
we had
1?
an
Yeah,
issue
that's
earlier.
well. That's 8-1. It's actually
Well,
4,
actually, 8
it's
to
like
2.
8 to 2. So yeah, let's say so 4-1, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
4-1. 4-1.
Just don't get shot.
Oh, and
that's a
4-1 is a DR2.
Okay.
All right.
Couple of scoots. He does behave like a vedette. How about
I
that?
know exactly. Okay.
And 8
Looks like a 1-1
to
there.
6.
8-2.
Right.
Okay.
8 to 6.
8 to 6.
No.
1.5 coming
No.
up a slope, or is it 2?
Oh,
It's 1.5.
1.5. So
Yeah, 8 to 6. So
8 to 6. So that's a
nothing.
1-1, right?
1-1.
1-1. Oh,
Oh, you tickled me.
oh, that's
Ah,
a DR2.
It's okay. It's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Mm-hmm.
For the 8 p.m. turn, the Allies basically consolidating for the morning. We do have a few march orders that will continue on through the night, which is a good thing. We're very diligently getting our leaders into chateaus and towns to maximize the victory points for that. We need them because we really got hammered on the card differential this turn. So that ends the 17th of June. Turn of a lot of maneuvers and some skirmishing and repositioning for sure. For the night, we're going to be going into thunderstorms. That shouldn't affect too much, really, just in terms of maybe night marching for trains and things. We'll begin our next session with the night marches. When we did the card calculations, the Allies spent, I don't know, something like 13 points more on cards than the French did. A lot of the time we were really forced into that. I put that down maybe to the French card advantage that they got on the 16th by their strategic victory. But whatever it was, they had a lot of zeros and we had a lot of -3s on the cards. We were able to make that up somewhat by putting leaders into towns for the night. The British have a huge number of leaders, so we were able to put 13 leaders into towns. To the French, I don't know, a very small number. So that kind of helped make up for the card differential. The casualties were very similar. There was no actual point difference for that. Again, reflecting a day of marching. In the Grand Campaign, on the 17th, there are no terrain-based victory points, and that makes a big difference too. Like I said, I'll post the final score sheet as far as victory points go separately this evening. I'll put a link to that on the video so you guys can check it out if you're only watching this on YouTube. But other than that, very satisfying. And I'm going to give Chuck and Kurt a little bit of a final say on this session. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope you join us for the big day, June 18th, 1815. Thanks again for watching.
So, yeah. Because I mean, really, when you look, the French were essentially here, and now they're all over here, and the Prussians were here,
And they
they're
slid all
here.
up,
Yeah,
yep.
they kind of came around like that.
Yeah.
No, they did some hard marching through the frickin'
Oh yeah,
forest.
through the Vienna woods. But I mean, the thing that helped the French is we had the road. So
Yeah, you marched twice and you probably covered twice as many axes.
So-
Yes, the 17th started with. We didn't move much. The British. We ended up
were
being.
trying to get there.
yeah.
well, we were pretty much. I mean, you're hitting our roadblocks that we put
Right,
up
yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
So we moved forward a little bit, and now we're basically back where we started on the morning of the 17th.
Well, what happened is the British came forward to see what they could gobble up, and they hit Lobau hard, and then they also banged in the Second Corps, and then as the French column came around and First Corps showed up, then the Brits decided to instead of doing the manly thing and deploying for battle.
Discretion
Yes.
is better part
Yes.
of valor.
No.
Well, you notice that the two armies were not split, which was something that we were.
I know,
there was
yes,
a danger
exactly.
of.
I know.
There was a
Yeah,
danger
yeah.
of that in the morning,
Right,
and
so,
so the British dancing was meant to try to
Yeah.
discourage any real penetration by you Frenchmen.
Well, you'll be delighted to know it was more the oncoming mass suppressions.
Yeah.
That I said that, I don't think I'm going to be able to hold those
That's
guys.
right.
And then I noticed, if we go around here,
That is a nice.
and if I fight my battle here, well, the Prussians are all
Yeah,
over
it's
there.
the
Yeah, exactly.
strategy you do at Napoleon at Waterloo.
Yeah,
Try to
there it
smash
is.
the
It's
British
like,
before the
can I
Prussians.
beat him before the Prussians show up in force? So.
And they're gotta love that road.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I do like is my armies all together.
Yeah. Well,
That's the
it's called intermixed and strung
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see what the 18th
Yeah.
the 18th brings.
Right. So, yeah.
Both sides are feeling pretty good about their position, so I guess that's a good.
Yeah,
That's a good sign.
That's a good way to leave it.
That's right.
You know?
So, alrighty, so-
Vive l'empereur!